Today in the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, we have Bullet Club Week. And I'm saying Bullet Club because this is the 9th anniversary of the Bullet Club faction. It's been around that long. We are going to go and do the Wrestling Dontaku review as Bullet Club made a big statement last Sunday in Fukuoka. Also, we're going to go through the lineup who is involved in the Best of Super Junior. A Impact Wrestling star is in it. So is the AEW. So we're going to have a lot of stuff. Plus, we're going to go do AEW Rampage and Dynamite reviews and wrestling news and rumors. We're going to have that and much more on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. Welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One from New York City, and we are here today doing the Bullet Club Week. I call it Bullet Club, the 9th anniversary of Bullet Club. That was on May 3rd, I believe. It was Wednesday, I think it was, or actually Tuesday. It was the 9th anniversary of Bullet Club. Rose to the wrestling scene back in 2013 with Balak Fale, Carl Anderson, Tama Tonga, and of course the one and only Prince Devitt, aka Finn Balor. So it was ever since I seen this group, I became a mark, and I've been a mark for the big longest. So the last 9 years, I love Bullet Club, even though they have been some time. As far as them being around in 9 years, it's been ups and downs, you know, and it has not been probably favorable for them. It looked like every time, like, oh, Bullet Club is done, they're not the same. But let me tell you something. If you guys remember back in, I believe, was in March or February when Jay White turned on Tama Tonga, and everybody was wondering what was going to happen. Now Tama Tonga was no longer part of the Bullet Club, but he went to Japan. He was in the New Japan Cup. He was still part of Bullet Club. Goto, of course, had told the group, you either with Jay White or with Tama Tonga. They put the group in a situation, and you could tell that on the New Japan Cup, you saw Evil wrestling Tama Tonga and whatnot, and that's when the whole Bullet Club turned on Tama Tonga, leaving him and his brother and Master Heater laid out. But Jay White was not in Japan. He was still in Impact. He was doing his thing over here, doing the USJ Challenge, and he was being the catalyst that he is, and he was pulling all the strings from here in the United States. Well, that was not too long before he came back to New Japan, and it happened at Wrestling Dontaku. But this event, I totally forgot that this even happened last week when I had my boy Michael J. Sorrentino in the Chokeslam Wrestling Report podcast, and I totally forgot that was going to happen. But then I started seeing all these little clips, things that happened in the event. And so I'm going to go through it, whatever. But before we do that, of course, there was also reported that Tatsumi Fujinami, who was supposed to team up with, I believe, my God, who was the guys they were supposed to team up? Oh my God, I got to go through the whole thing. So I know Fujinami and Will Ospreay were taken out of the event because they had COVID. They came out with COVID and they had symptoms. I believe Fujinami had symptoms. Ospreay didn't. He was asymptomatic. So that, kind of messed up the whole thing because it was supposed to be Shingo Takagi teaming up with Tatsumi Fujinami, and I believe he was Bushi in that match. Against the, of course, Zack Sabre Jr., Taishi, and I believe it was Oh my God, forgot the other guy. It's part of the Minoru Suzuki Gun. But Taichi ended up pinning Shingo Takagi in a 6-man tag. Set up another match between Shingo Takagi and Taichi because a couple of weeks ago, Shingo Takagi beat Taichi in the King of Pro Wrestling trophy. This is the same trophy that Yano was walking around for the last 2 years and whatnot. Even Chase Owens won this. This is a trophy where you could go and make up stipulations in these matches. So they made a stipulation where, and one of them was a 30 count, something like that. And I believe Shingo Takagi won that match, and it was a 30 count match on April 25th. So they had a match before, but Taichi gets another shot at this King of Pro Wrestling trophy coming up in the future. Tonga Loa end up beating Tokyo Pimp, from Bullet Club, getting some revenge against the BC and pretty much looking to get a shot at the never 6-man tag for the Tokyo Pimp, Evil, and Yo, who are the 6-man tags in Japan. So Tonga Loa got revenge, getting pinning the Tokyo Pimp, Takahashi. So that was some way to get back at Bullet Club, but Bullet Club was not going to be laying down because sooner or later they were going to do something. I believe even in that match, I believe Yo got involved in that one. So Bala Fale and Chase Owen finally got the first titles after being so many years in Bullet Club, especially Bala Fale, who is the founder of the Bullet Club. They end up defeating Goto and Yoshihashi and Jeff Cobb and Great Khan to win the IWGP Tag Team Championships in a 3-way match. And Balor Fale and Chase Owen end up winning that match and bringing the gold back to Bullet Club. Remember, Guerrillas of Destiny held those belts 7 times before the breakup of them being thrown out of Bullet Club. So now Balor Fale and Chase Owen wins the tag team titles. Bala Fale, who had won the IWGP Intercontinental Championship back in 2014 by defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi, gets his second title in Japan after so many years and whatnot. They introduced the Best of Super Juniors, but I will talk about that later. The next match was the Never Openweight Championship between Evil and Tama Tonga. And this was a good match, back and forth. Of course, Dick Togo got involved, so did Master Heater. And it was, Jado was trying to protect Tama Tonga as much as he can. But Tama Tonga beats Evil after all kinds of interference that was getting involved. Beats Evil for the Never Openweight Championship. But a surprise. Guess who was back in Japan? The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Lou Gallows, came in the ring and attacked Tama Tonga. Tonga Lord tried to come in, but that didn't help. And now this whole situation is going to get very, very interesting. Now, Carl Anderson came out of nowhere and said, I'm challenging you for the Never Openweight Title Championship, which is something that it's going to be a good match, and it's going to be in Japan. So, I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. So that was cool. Taiji Ishimori wins the IWGP Junior the IWGP Junior title for the 3rd time. During this event, Bullet Club won another title. And again, Ishimori wins it the 3rd time. I don't see anyone right now who's challenging him for that, but Ishimori is the man. I mean, this kid, he's so talented in that division. Hiroshi Tanahashi wins the IWGP United States title by beating Tomohiro Ishii in a good match. But he gets attacked by no other, which caught me off guard, than Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson pretty much is now a member of Bullet Club, which really threw me off because I thought he was done with New Japan because that was the word. He was doing interviews. He's talking about that he hoped one day to go to Impact. So now Juice Robinson is part of Bullet Club. The Bullet Club gotten stronger, and Juice Robinson being part of that, I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. Again, Jay White doing all the moves in Japan and in the United States. So we thought and whatnot. So other news, of course, we also saw the after that match, we saw the Naito versus Okada. Great match the whole time. You know, you can't ask for anything better. And next thing you know, after the match, he did his, talking to the crowd, and Jay White showed up out of nowhere. No one expected Jay White to be in Japan that night. And he confronted Okada, and then Ghetto went out of nowhere, and he jumped Tanahashi from behind. I'm not Tanahashi, I'm sorry, Okada from behind. And Jay White took out Okada, and then he left Okada laid out. And pretty much with the rest of the Bullet Club took pose with the picture, and pretty much Bullet Club made an impact in that show. I mean, it was crazy, and we all thought what's gonna happen with Bullet Club. Jay White's in the United States, and what's gonna happen? Well, there you have it. You have it right there. The whole concept right now. I believe Jay White's gonna end up beating Okada for the belt, because it's been almost 3 years. Well, actually 3 years since Okada beat Jay White in Madison Square Garden. And Jay White goes around talking about he single-handedly sold out Madison Square Garden, which I was there when he got beaten by Okada. But do not be surprised that he beats Okada somewhere in the summertime in Dominion. They're gonna match that. They're gonna wrestle in Dominion. So, and I believe it's in June coming up after the Best of the Super Juniors. I could see Jay White actually beating Okada for that belt. It's the payback. In other words, I mean, Okada don't really need the belt. He's always going to be a main eventer in New Japan. So, and speaking about the Best of the Super Junior, they announced the brackets of the individuals who are going to participate in the Best of the Super Junior. This is the best tournament that anybody can have in the pro wrestling business. The Best of the Super Junior. In bracket A, they got Takushi, they got Hiromu Takahashi, they got Yo, they got Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori, they got Sho, they got Clark Connors, they got Alex Zane, and Impact's X Division champion, a 3-time Impact X Division champion, Ace Austin. They got Francisco Aquitaine, who's going to be part of that. He is part of, if I'm correct, he's part of the Empire. And then they're going to have Kanemaru. In the B bracket, they got Master Wato. They got Robbie Eagle. They got Bushi. They got Dookie, which Dookie was the one who was in that 6-man tag. Desperado. Ed Phantasmo. They got Titan from CMML. They got Yuta. Yep, that Wheeler Yuta from AEW is going to be part of that. You're going to have TJP. And you're going to have El Lindemann also from CMML. So that tournament is going to be out of this world, guys. Out of this world. So that is the New Japan, pretty much what was going on. Also, reports also with the New Japan, Kushida Okada on AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. He said, I should be there. There's not much point if I'm not. He has a point. If you think of New Japan, who's the first person you think of? You think of Okada. You know what I'm saying? Then you think of Naito, and then you'll think of Jay White, and then you so on and so on. But right now, when you say New Japan, you say Kazuchika Okada is the man. He's the man right now. You can't ask for anything better than that. So, so New Japan also announced that they're gonna have Dominion on June 12th. That's a Sunday. So in the event, they already announced who is wrestling in that particular event. They're going to have, for the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, I just said it, it's going to be Jay White against Okada. That's going to be crazy. Then we're going to have Tama Tonga, the champion, versus Carl Anderson. So that's going to be interesting. The IWGP Tag Team Champions, Balak Fale and Chase Owens, is going to go against Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb. So they're going to have a one-on-one match between these two tag teams. The King of Pro Wrestling 2022 Provisional Champion, or the trophy, Shingo Takagi versus, who's the champion, versus Taishi. And then, I mean, they already set up. Those next 2 months, you're going to have the Best of Super Junior. If you're a big New Japan fan, you might as well enjoy that. And then you're going to have the pretty much you're gonna have Dominion right behind it. So, I mean, if you're a New Japan fan, you should be happy with that. Other news from Japan, they're gonna have to. Naito is set for undergo eye surgery. He may be out for a month and a half. So, and notice that he is not part of the Dominion card, but they could probably add another match in there and whatnot. So that's gonna be interesting. So, this is stuff that that you could we could go for it. You know what I'm saying? It's something that to enjoy. In other news, Jonah, who been wrestling with Impact Wrestling for the last 6 months, maybe next 6 months. Well, he's done with Impact, and he pretty much is done. He wrestled PCO this I believe last night, and he's done with Impact. So we don't know where he's gonna be. I know he'll be in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He'll be in New Japan Strong, really. So if you think about it, let me see other news. Also, I think that's about it when it comes to the news right now. As far as WWE is concerned, I know I don't really do a lot of WWE stuff. I know Big E just announced that his injury is not getting healed properly, or is optimistic healing. So he's still got to wear the brace. I mean, is he ever going to wrestle again? That's the sad part. And if he doesn't wrestle again, they try and see if they could give him more time instead of fusing his neck. But right now, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all, because he's gonna be out for a while. He's gonna be out for at least a year and a half, because if he has to fuse his neck, it's not good at all. It's not good at all. We got a new Pro Wrestling Guerrilla champion, and it happened on last weekend. Well, PWG Delivering the Goods has now a new PWG World Champion. Bandito is no longer the champion, as Daniel Garcia, AEW Daniel Garcia, captured the PWG Championship at PWG Delivering the Goods, defeating Bandito in the main event of the evening. The finish saw Garcia locked in a sharpshooter for the victory after a low blow and a series of spinning forearms. So Danny Garcia is out there doing his thing, and this guy, and I'm going to keep it real, I don't like him being part of this Jericho Appreciation Society, and I will be talking about that when we go to the AEW review. Other news, Ricochet open to going to NXT return. Jokes he's better than Will Ospreay at basically everything. Well, I think as far as Ricochet is concerned, I don't knock this man, because this man has so much skill and ability. This man is like a flying like a bird. This guy could wrestle. And when him and Will Ospreay met back, I think it was 2015 or 2016 at the Best of the Super Junior, it was a classic. Couldn't ask for anything better. That's when Will Ospreay first came to Japan from the UK, and him and Ricochet had one of the best matches at the Best of the Super Juniors, and it was a classic. But what the problem is here is that WWE don't let these wrestlers pretty much wrestle the way they used to wrestle outside of WWE. They want them to wrestle WWE way, and you see where it takes them, right? So that part is just which is stupid, because you're taking away a lot of his skills and his things that he could do and show the crowd, and and maybe WWE, you'll get more fans. Be like, wow, look, Ricochet is doing things that he was doing back in New Japan or in Lucha Underground. But no, they rather have them, wrestle, WWE way, 5-minute matches, 7-minute matches. I mean, it doesn't make no sense, So I don't know. But him and Will Ospreay had some great matches back then, and it's crazy. Also, talking about the WWE very quickly. First of all, I just don't understand how for a month and a half they were advertising the unification tag team match, and now all of a sudden they just put Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre into the fold. And let me tell you, I mean, you could tell WWE's not even trying. They're not even bothering. They don't care. They don't care if people are complaining about it because they're making their money through the advertising revenue. So they don't care. They don't care. And be realistic. The investors who got money in the stock market with them, they're not gonna question that. They're not. They're not gonna question it because they don't know nothing about wrestling. They don't know how the concept of professional wrestling. They don't know anything. So they're not gonna ask. The WWE don't care. McMahon doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't care. So he's not even trying. He knows that they got a loyal base. And let's be realistic. WWE has a loyal base who doesn't leave the bubble of WWE because that's all they watch is WWE. And then they want to talk about what happened back in WrestleMania 18 with The Rock and Hulk Hogan. And they want to talk about the past, but they don't want to talk about the present right now. That the present right now is just straight up boring. That Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair feud is horrible. It is horrible. That Beat the Clock challenge last week, which was a tape, whatever, horrible. Especially more on the Ronda Rousey side. That girl can't wrestle for shit, for nothing, for beans. She can't wrestle. Okay, and then she put it in there with Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi Blackheart and Ronda Rousey, they're not gonna have the same chemistry. So you're gonna have Ronda Rousey, who can't wrestle for shit, who's gonna make a professional wrestler like Shotzi Blackheart tap out. Can you explain that one to me? Because I want to know. I really do. But and I believe WrestleMania Backlash is this weekend coming up. I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, but it is what it is. So. And also one thing I want to comment before I go away from WWE. This whole thing where now Finn Balor is involved in AJ Styles' feud with Edge, and they threw the Bullet Club Too Sweet thing. You're about 8-9 years too late, because that, you know how cool that would have been if they would have had the Balor Club with AJ. The Good Brothers together, and that would have been mad cool. You only needed those 4 guys, but they didn't. Now they want to throw the Too Sweet sign now up, I guess because it was Bullet Club week, and they want to do that. I mean, I guess we say Bullet Club for life, but WWE taking little pot shots. Oh look, they threw the Too Sweet up. Anyway, it's just I don't know. Honestly, I just sometimes shake my head on stuff like this, but. And then you got to go and deal with some of these trolls online that they talk about. Oh, I don't know, you hate WWE. Nonsense. AEW. So let's go with AEW. This past Wednesday, AEW Dynamite had a their event. They're pretty much setting up for next week for the Owen Hart tournament actually, and I will be there live. Next Wednesday at the Long Island I think it's the USB Arena. I will be there. Bought tickets already, so I'm in there. So most likely you guys are going to get pretty much the podcast a little earlier than usual because, I usually wait to see Dynamite and Rampage. I see Dynamite on Wednesday, then I'll see Friday Rampage. I'll be able to see everything all in one night. And I'll be able to take notes down, whatever I need to do. Whatever it takes, But AEW this weekend, actually this Wednesday, had Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Fitch for the Owen Hart qualification for the tournament. Fitch started working on Hardy's leg, and he was using his martial arts skill. Also, he hit a top Falcon arrow from the top rope, and it was bad. It was bad for Hardy. I don't know how he took that bump. Then Jeff came back and hits the Swanton Bomb for the win, which was cool. Then the aftermath. This is the part that I didn't like because this is not everybody acts like, oh my God, this is the Hardys and the Young Bucks. I saw the Young Bucks and the Hardy Boys wrestle back in 2017 when they met at the Ring of Honor Manhattan Mayhem. Yes. 2017. I was at the Hammerstein Ballroom when these guys faced each other. At that time, the Young Bucks were the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, and all of a sudden, you had the Young Bucks versus the Hardy, and the Hardys beat the Young Bucks for those Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. So, is this something they want? I don't know, but I'm not too crazy about it, to be honest. I really don't care about them going at it. So, I think the Hardys, to me right now, they're coming out too much, and I don't know. The Blackpool Combat Club versus the Andrade family office. Butcher, Blaine, and Angelico ended up attacking the Blackpool Combat Club on the outside. Yuta and Danielson then started teaching a lesson to Angelico and Blade, but Butcher came in. He took control of the match by isolating Yuta, but of course Mox got tagged in. He starts going crazy with a cutter and biting on the Butcher, and then Danielson then puts Angelico to sleep for the win. So that was cool. It's nice to see Angelico, even though Jack Evans left AEW. He's not signing with them, so it's crazy. Of course, they did the Ricky Starr and Powerhouse Hobbs promo, and then Lee and Swerve did their promo, but it looks like Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs wants to take the titles away from Jurassic Express, but before that happens, you're going to have Jungle Boys versus Ricky Starks for the FTW title somewhere down the line. I don't know if it's next week or I don't know. I don't know when. This was very interesting. And we had Warlow versus Morrissey. And MJF came out, of course, like always. And Morrissey and Warlow then came out and they went at it. Morrissey took control of the match for a couple of minutes, but then Warlow hit a moonsault on Morrissey, and then he hit a powerbomb. One powerbomb. He didn't do the symphony powerbomb that he does. He did one powerbomb on Morrissey. Morrissey looked good, and he beat him. And then he takes the mic. Actually, before he took the mic, security came in, and he wiped out the whole security, like 20 or 30 guys. Then he took one guy and just threw him on top a bunch of securities, and then he pretty much told MJF, I'm still going to come after you until you take me out of the contract. So now it looks like next week at Long Island, you're going to have, of course, MJF, who's loving Long Island. He's going to have the contract signing with stipulation, of course. And it's probably going to be, Warlow is going to wrestle MJF with the contract on the line. So most likely, probably the first one, you're probably going to see MJF cheat some way or the other, or Sean Spear getting involved. It's going to cost Warlow the match, and they're going to keep embarrassing Warlow as the time comes up. Hangman Page did a promo, which kind of surprised me because he came out looking like a heel. He pretty much talked about the Double or Nothing pay-per-view coming up with him and CM Punk, and he pretty much said he's going to destroy CM Punk. He's going to take him out. I mean, it sounded like, are they putting him as the heel in this match? Why? Well, it could just be two fan favorite guys going at it, but that promo sounded like he is a heel. Had me going, interesting. Very interesting, but we'll see what happens. Then we had Chris Jericho versus Santana from Private Powerful. This match, I mean, you saw Santana pretty much taking control of Jericho, but of course you knew this was going to happen. Too many people outside of ring getting involved, and Jericho ended up beating Santana. Again, this storyline does not make no sense. This is a setup for the Stadium Stampede, but who are going to be the next two guys who's going to join Santana, Ortiz, and Kingston? If it's not Homicide and it's not Hernandez, then don't bring anybody else. Because now you got only 20 more days, 3 more weeks before you finish this. Honestly, and it's just me, I cannot stand this storyline. I don't like it. With this sports entertainment. Because that, the Magic, Mr. Magic. Sports entertainment. It's ridiculous. I don't like that making Prime Powerful look so weak in this stupid storyline that is just ridiculous. I don't understand it. And Santana Ortiz came in as the hottest tag team 3 years ago at All Out. What is going on? And I said this years ago. I mean, probably a lot of people like, oh, you're taking shots at AEW. Yes, I'm going to take shots at AEW if you're not doing the right thing. And one thing is you're not doing is you're not putting Santana Ortiz in the title picture. They should be there. I don't understand that. Samoa Joe did a promo, pretty much. I'm talking about Jay Lethal. House of Black, very interesting situation. House of Black was being called out by the blonde, Varsity Blondes. two jobbers, I guess. And I thought Julia Hart was going to end up joining the House of Black, but apparently she was scared. But you could tell she's going to join because she has the black thing under. When they got the pads, they got the black thing that the House of Black guys use, especially oh my God, I forgot his name. The leader of House of Black. Wow, my mind's all messed up today. So it's gonna happen. He don't call Malachi Black. That's what I wanted. Yeah, Malachi Black. That same color on her eyes. So it's gonna happen. She just I think she's gonna set up the Death Triangle. It's gonna happen, and then they're probably gonna bring a girl, probably a female, to join that group. So, Dante Martin versus Ray Phoenix. This was a classic. Two guys doing the best they do, high flying stuff. But Phoenix hit a beautiful cutter. Nice super kick by Dante at one point. He's caught Phoenix lovely. I'm talking about, it was crazy. Both wrestlers at one point went for a Spanish fly, but both of them landing on their feet. But then Dante hit a Poison Rana, but Phoenix then hit a brainbuster. It was a nasty brainbuster, and he ends up winning the match to qualify for the Owen Hart situation. Then we had a nice little promo, which pretty much tells me a lot on this, because the match that was supposed to start, actually the main event, was the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Unification match, right? And who comes out talking about the best wrestlers was Thunder Rosa, the AEW Women's Champion, and Serena Deebs, who are going to have a face-off, or they're going to face each other at Double or Nothing. And funny that you had the virtuosa Deonna Purrazo, who I personally feel she's the best wrestler in the world, and facing Mercedes Martinez, which I love the Boricua bat, not the Boricua bat, the Boricua OG, Mercedes Martinez. And then you had two girls before that match started talking about who's the best. Now, the main event, of course, Mercedes Martinez versus the virtuosa Deonna Purrazo. This was a great match, back and forth. These two ladies went at it. Deonna was working on Mercedes' arm throughout the match. It was a great match with both wrestlers, but Mercedes ends up winning the match, beating Deonna Purrazo. My thoughts on that is, I guess for one night, AEW worked with Impact. Both of the wrestlers of Impact lost in those matches. Now, I don't know if it's, and I'm just speculating here, I'm not saying it is, but you had two Impact wrestlers in that event, and both of them lost. And I feel that not only that, at the end of the day, because Impact decided to want to be cute last October, when they decided that, we're working with New Japan, but they, in reality, if it wasn't for AEW, who was working with New Japan with this Forbidden Door stuff, Impact would not be working with New Japan. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. Okay? But at the same time, if you think about it, that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? Instead, Impact decided after Bound for Glory that they weren't going to work with Impact anymore, because they felt, well, we got New Japan now. Well, Tony Khan, to me, I feel like he got even, because he figured, well, January, Deonna Purrazo wins the Ring of Honor title by beating Roxy and whatnot. And then I was happy for Deonna Purrazo having the belt, because that's my girl. I love Deonna Purrazo the same way I love Mercedes Martinez. But at the end of the day, Tony Khan went and figured, well, okay, we'll see what happens, right? Meanwhile, Impact was bringing all these people from Ring of Honor, and Jonathan Gresham, the Honor No More group, and then you had Deonna Purrazo as the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Here comes Tony Khan and buys Ring of Honor. Now, Deonna Purrazo was supposed to come out that Supercard of Honor, but she couldn't because she was wrestling at the Multiverse show. And of course, Tony Khan was like, okay, I'm not going to make you wrestle because that's not cool. It's too much for you. And at the end of the day, he set up the match, and Mercedes Martinez is now the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Now, for this Impact Wrestling fans, you guys are losing guys back and forth. You're losing people. Let's put it. You just lost the inspiration, whatever they want. The ones who used to be known as the Iconic, they retired. Now Morrissey shows up at AEW. I don't know what his contract looked like unless he's paid per show. Same thing with Deonna Purrazo. Deonna Purrazo's contract is almost over. I know Deonna Purrazo said she wants to come to AEW. She made that clear. And I know I'm going to get a lot of heat from people who love Impact. But let's be realistic. Why is it and they put it this way. The beginning of the year, these guys Impact had a lot of good, they had a good, couple of pay-per-views that were good. The first one was, I think, Hard to Kill, and then the one after that, oh my God, I forgot the name of it, but it was in February, which I counted, it was a 10. That's when Eddie Edwards turned on Impact. But now we just saw Rebellion, and it was not that good of a show. It wasn't. The main event was great. You know what I'm saying? But that event wasn't great. That event wasn't great. Of course, Ace Austin won the X Division champion for the third time. You saw Tasha Steele beat Rosemary, which I'm saying to myself, well, they're still pushing that woman in Impact. You got to build something. But it is what it is. So now, what we saw this past week in AEW was that. Pretty much, I think Deonna Purrazo will fit perfectly in the women's division. And again, AEW's only been around. It's going to be 3 years coming up. Just three. And they're giving you excellent matches. Yes, they have a lot of faults here and there. I'm not going to say they're perfect because they're not. But at the end of the day, they're going to do something. Also, the Forbidden Door for June 26th at Chicago United Center sold out. Sold out already. So there's no tickets for that. So, it's going to be, it's going to be something for people to enjoy. And we're talking about Double or Nothing. And then almost a month later, Forbidden Door. You can't ask for anything but with New Japan. 2 weeks after New Japan has the New Japan Dominion. So this whole week has been a New Japan. And I'll keep telling people, don't sleep on New Japan. New Japan and people, some wrestling fans sometimes say stupid thing with racist comment. Oh, it's the Chinese guy. It's not Chinese, stupid. It's Japanese. Okay, and if you don't know about Japanese wrestling, let me tell you something. You got a lot to learn. Let me tell you something. Japanese wrestling is the best in the world. Believe me. I've been watching wrestling for close to 46 years. Japanese wrestling is the best in the world. And anybody disagree with me, then you need to check New Japan Pro Wrestling. You need to check Noah. You need to say All Japan Pro Wrestling, DDT, Dragon Gate. You can't ask for anything better. So that is it for me, guys, for this podcast. Again, I want to thank everybody who's been supporting the YouTube channel. Also, you can listen to me through audio podcasts. You can find me in Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and any audio platforms that is available. So I'm everywhere. The YouTube channel, of course, you guys, you could go and subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell for new uploads. Share it with your friends. Share it with your pro wrestling fans, fans, whatever, and share it. Also, I have a merchandise store called tcwr.veryimpressive.com. That's tcwr.veryimpressive.com. And there you see the hats, you'll see the sweat, the hoodies, you'll see 3 shirts with different design, especially with one with the Chokeslam Wrestling Report logo, which is the main one. So go check it out. And if you are in the website, you can also check out the YouTube video. This is exact YouTube video in the website, and you can listen to the audio podcast if you choose to. So again, guys, I know a lot of you guys may not sit down and watch a YouTube video because you're doing stuff at the house, but you could listen to the audio podcast available at Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and any major audio platform that you like to listen to your favorite show. Shout out to my boy again, Michael J. Serentino, for showing up last week. Shout out to my boy Jay Sandy from the Turnbuckle Tabloid. And shout out to my WNR podcast squad. You know what I'm saying? And much love for the people in UK. Until then, guys, be safe. Okay? Be safe. And take care of yourself, because it looks like that little monster is trying to make a comeback. So keep yourself safe and healthy and protect your family. Until then, guys, peace. Top Guy out.